Hey guys, welcome back to Latin 2 online. Today's video is going to be pretty quick. We are beginning chapter 21. Don't be fooled by the heading here. I just wanted to review chapter 18 because chapter 21 is basically the sequel to um, chapter 18 when we first got passive verbs. So if you recall, just like chapter 1, the very first chapter in the book, we start out with just the first two conjugations. So too when we get passive verbs. Now we're going to get third and fourth conjugation passive endings. So remember these endings: or, restore, more, many, and tour, as well as we have imperfect and future versions of these as well. Those are the endings for first and second conjugation. Now we're getting third and fourth. They are similar, and the imperfect is basically the exact same, but present and future are kind of weird. So let's just real quickly review just active endings for third and fourth conjugation verbs. Remember words like ago, agora, and audio, audire, and winio, winire. Their future endings are not bo bis bit, bimis bitis bunt. Instead, they get their own endings. Um, and I'm still constantly worried that we don't know these endings well enough, or that we're going to get caught off guard by these guys. But remember, it's kind of very I centric in the present tense in terms of the endings. But then in future, we're mostly getting this long E that shows up, and that will be a pattern that repeats with the passive endings. And that first person singular is pretty weird. We get AM. So yeah, that's going to be helpful when we look at these passive endings, which here they are. So, as you can see, the present tense, the endings are the same. The thing you want to watch, though, is that the vowel connecting, like the verb stem, to these endings is going to change depending. So, in fourth conjugation and third IO, because remember we have that third IO category for like capio, capora, to capture, where it's ending in IO, but the infinitive still has that short E. Capora, right? So that I is going to show up in first person singular, and then look at this weird second person singular. It's going to get a short E, just an E without a macron on it. Though fourth conjugation is going to get a long I. So yeah, they're using the vowels that you would expect them to use. Um, but it's a little tricky in terms of being ready to see the different vowels that are showing up. Agator, auditor, capitor, so on and so forth. And yeah, the plurals are not weird at all. Basically, I is just showing up in the third person plural ending, just like it is in the first person singular. It's not too weird. But yeah, you probably just want to pause this video and get all of this real quickly. Of course, it's in your book as well. If you have trouble like seeing this or something, or you don't like copying from a computer screen, you can go to 169 or page 169 of the textbook to get all of these. But yeah, we mostly want to compare them to the future tense endings for the passive system, because that's where we have some kind of a little bit of weirdness. Um, so notice the first person singular is ending in AR instead of OR. So that might remind us of how first person singular future active is ending AM, maybe. And then these endings are basically the same, except for the fact that we're getting this long E showing up. So that is most weird in the second person, because second person present active also ends in ERIS, and so it's quite literally just that macron that is differentiating it. For fourth conjugation, it's more different, audiris versus audieris. But for regular third conjugation, it goes from agoris, you, um, you were acted or done. That's kind of a weird verb to make passive. Versus you will have been acted, or you will have been done. Ageris. Okay, so it's really just that macron that's making the difference. Agetor, audiator, copiator, so on and so forth. And yeah, the long E is just showing up in all the endings except first person singular. And third person plural, weirdly, this is not a long E. Agentur, audientur, copientur. So it's not long there, but it's almost like you don't need to differentiate the third plural since E doesn't show up in the present third person plural passive, if that makes sense, if you catch my drift. All right, so I'll let you get these forms and write all of them down. You probably are going to want to write down all three of these examples because third, fourth, and third IO all have their own little slight differences. Like I said, imperfect is the same though. I'll show that to you guys on Monday, just to do that anyway, and then we'll look at the vocabulary as well. Alright guys, that's it. I know this was a real short video, but we had some pretty good content this week, and we'll get into this chapter properly next week, but we have time to get into it today, so that's what we did. And yeah, that's all there is to the chapter. They don't introduce any other concepts this chapter, so I think it kind of is going to count as a breather of a chapter. I mean, we will have some difficulty getting used to identifying these endings, but it seems like the way the book is paced that they're intentionally kind of giving us a bit of a breather so that we can continue to practice our brand new, increasingly complex concepts such as the relative clause, the passive voice, the perfect passive, and any of the new ablatives that we've been getting. All right. I hope you guys have a good weekend.